Alrighty, good evening, guys. At the height of the opioid epidemic, years 2009 to 2011, Johnson & Johnson targeted over 140,000 doctors in the state of Oklahoma, said Oklahoma's Attorney General, Mike Hunter. Over 140,000 opioid sales were made to doctors in just 2 years, helping fuel the crisis. If that wasn't bad enough, according to the CDC, there were 58 prescriptions written for every 100 Americans. With these staggering numbers, the chances are high that either you or someone you know has been affected by this crisis. I have taken it upon myself to research the current war on opioid manufacturers, as I have read about and have seen the damaging side effects opioids have. There are over 33,000 deaths by the hands of opioids every year in the US, and states, along with local governments, are finally starting to fight back. The most prominent of these trials is currently taking place in the state of Oklahoma. But before I speak on the Oklahoma trial, I want to give you some facts and statistics about these dangerous drugs. In a study published by the American Society of Addiction Medicine, the overdose rate in 2008 was nearly 4 times that in 1999. In that same study by the American Society of Addiction Medicine, they revealed that in 2012, over 259 prescriptions were written for opioids, enough to supply every adult with their own bottle. But opioid addiction doesn't just affect adults. In fact, the same study done by the American Society of Addiction Medicine stated in 2015 that over 276 adolescents, those ages 12 to 17 years old, use painkillers for non-medicinal reasons. Opioids are clearly an issue in our country, but over the years, not much has been done in the way of combating the companies that produce these highly addictive drugs. States and local governments have finally had enough and are filing a lawsuit against these manufacturers. In an audio recording released by NPR on May 27th of this year, Jackie Fortier, Oklahoma's senior healthcare reporter, stated that many states and more than 1,600 local and tribal governments are suing these manufacturers. They're trying to recoup billions of dollars on addressing the fallout tied to the opioid addiction. Attorney Joe Rice says that these governments have been trying to reach a settlement with 24 manufacturers and distributors, and that the discussions have lasted over a year, and yet nobody has signed on. As far as the dollar amount goes, the talks have yet to reach that stage. Brian Mann, a reporter for NPR, stated that what the plan does lay out is a deal where roughly 2,400 local governments would all be swept into a single group, and with these drug companies, these companies would get to vote on a proposed payout. Now, there are a bevy of litigations to choose from, but I decided to focus on the Oklahoma trial. There's currently a major trial underway in Oklahoma between Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter and Johnson & Johnson, the nation's largest drug maker. In a May 2019 posting by CNN, Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter was quoted as saying, "We are very confident what we believe will be a successful trial. Sometimes businesses do bad things, and this is one of those instances." Hunter alleges that Johnson & Johnson acted as a kingpin and created a public nuisance costing the state billions of dollars, destroying thousands of lives in the process. Johnson & Johnson, however, does not plan on rolling over in this trial. In a statement released by Janssen Pharmaceuticals, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, they were adamant in their innocence, saying, "Our actions in the marketing and promotion of these important prescription pain medicines were appropriate and responsible." Johnson & Johnson also spoke further on the allegations against them, stating that they did not market opioids to children, and the state's suggestion to the contrary is reckless. Opioid addiction has plagued the citizens of the country, both young and old, for decades. States and local governments have seen the detrimental effects of these drugs on their residents and have started to fight back. With thousands of U.S. citizens dying every year by the ever-growing hand of opioids in our country, the time is now to fight back. Fortunately, we have governments doing just that. With any luck, big pharmaceutical companies will see the wrong in their actions and change their ways.